Thank you for watching my revision of my American history notes, and I'm going to pick it up where I left off last time. The last of the founding fathers to serve as president was James Madison, the fourth chief executive, who served from 1809 to 1817. Just as Thomas Jefferson's greatest contribution to history had already been made in the writing of the Declaration of Independence, so James Madison's role as the often called father of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights already guaranteed him a place in history. As Secretary of State under Jefferson, he contributed not only his genius, but the services of his wife as hostess for the widower Jefferson's White House. Married in 1794 to a pretty young widow 17 years younger than himself, they had no children of their own but raised her son by her previous marriage. Madison came to office at a time of severe crisis in foreign relations. Both Great Britain and France were riding roughshod over America's rights as they fought the Napoleonic Wars, and American opinion was sharply divided. The Federalists in the North favored Great Britain, while the Democratic Republicans in the South and West favored France. One of Jefferson's last acts as president had been to repeal the impossible to enforce Embargo Act and to sign the Non Intercourse Act, which allowed trade with any country except France and Great Britain. Neither of the quote superpowers was impressed, and Britain was thought to be behind an Indian uprising in the Northwest. First, America annexed West Florida in October of 1810 after frontiersmen seized the Spanish fort at Baton Rouge and proclaimed the independent state of West Florida. The dispute over whether or not West Florida was included in the Louisiana Purchase wasn't settled until 1819 when Spain renounced sovereignty after having kept back part of what Napoleon had originally obtained and then sold to Jefferson. The British inspired uprising occurred when the chief of the Shawnee, Tecumseh, tried to organize a confederation of Indian tribes to oust white settlers from their land in 1811. He was supported by French Canadian fur interests. As friction increased, Brigadier General William Henry Harrison, governor of the Indiana Territory, moved with 1,000 troops against the Indian capital, Prophetstown, about 150 miles north of Vincennes. On November 7, 1811, his force was attacked at dawn by the Indians as they bivouacked, that's camped, on Tippecanoe Creek. The attack was repulsed, and a successful counterattack routed the Indians. The Indian capital was destroyed, and Tecumseh's power was temporarily shattered. Between 1811 and 1812, friction with Britain continued as ever increasing resentment fanned by the Battle of Tippecanoe boiled against that country. This was promoted by Canadians' support of Indian uprisings and Americans who wanted to annex Canada. Both Britain and France preyed on American merchant ships at the same time. More than 6,000 American merchant sailors were impressed into the British Navy at this time. The British frigate HMS Leopard had opened fire on the USS Chesapeake in June of 1807. In 1811, the USS President captured the HMS Little Belt in May of 1811. War hawks, quote unquote, as Jefferson termed them, in Congress, such as Henry Clay of Kentucky and John Calhoun of South Carolina, urged conquest of Canada while England was busy at war with France. Now, we're going to talk next about, continue talking about this very distressing time in American history, and when Madison asked for a declaration of war against Britain. So I look forward to doing it. If you have a question or if you have something you want to say, disagree or something like that, please post it in the comments. I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Thank you for watching.